Morning, everyone. It's 9:30. I think we're getting a lot of people trickling in here still. That's good. So welcome to this webinar about Fire Prevention Week Canadian style. And I don't really want to say too much. So we have Laura King here. Laura King probably doesn't need an introduction, but I'll give you a really short one anyway. Laura King is the Regional Director for Canada of the NFPA. Has been since the end of last year. I think it's been with the NFPA since 2017, and before that she was the editor of the Firefighting magazine. And from that, I'm not sure if you want to get started right away, or if you want to wait a little bit, see if there's some late ones trickling in, but I'm giving it to you from here on in.
Okay, thanks. Just give me a thumbs up that you can hear. Everything's good. Okay, thanks. Thanks very much, Raul. Sorry, losing my voice a bit this morning, but I'll give it a minute for, well, we've got 71 people, which is lovely. And I think there were 140 some odd registered. So we'll just slowly advance over to the slides and wait for people to come in. So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I think I know most of you. I've scrolled through the participants list here. So thanks very much for joining us. I'll just give you the bit of the lowdown on what's happened with the Fire Prevention Week material. You'll notice, if you haven't already, that it's living at the FPW site. So Fire Prevention Week, the FPW site, www.fpw.org. It's not yet on the NFPA site, the nfpa.org site. And that's simply because, well, I guess it's not simple, but, and you've probably, many of you have experienced, we're redoing the website, and it was supposed to be ready in May, and then it was supposed to be ready in July. And the back end stuff, which is the e-commerce arm of everything, is not ready yet. So we, staff, are not allowed to add anything new to the site, and haven't been for several weeks. So the Fire Prevention Week stuff for now is going to reside at fpw.org only. Hopefully we'll get a link up on the NFPA.org page shortly, but that is sort of out of our control. So it's all at fpw.org, and that's where we're going to go today. So that's the explanation behind that. We were a little late launching for a whole bunch of reasons, mostly that have to do with our e-commerce side of things on the website. So I'll share the screen, and I don't think I even started at the first slide. Yes, I did. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. So someone just assure me that you can see that. It's got the green around it. So I'm hoping you can. Raul, all good?
Yeah, we can see your slide.
All right. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, so I'm no longer looking at the participants or the chat. So feel free, you guys, to put questions or messages or comments in the chat as we go, and I'll stop periodically and ask Raul or Vince to read out the questions, or you guys can do that if your microphones are able to be on. So we won't take too long today, but I want to give you a really thorough overview of the theme, why the theme, where everything is, how to access it on the site, and then how to get your goods, how to get all the swag and the stuff that you are interested in and can use for Fire Prevention Week. And there are lots of different ways. So the theme launched last week on Monday, July 10th, and it is Cooking Safety Starts With You. Pay attention to fire prevention. So it's nice, it rhymes, it's short in English. It's a little longer in French, and that's fine. We worked with our French counterparts to keep it concise. So Fire Prevention Week, as you know, October 8th to 14th this year, it is always the week that includes October 9th. And that's because, you all know, right? That's because that's the date of the Great Chicago Fire. So I'm often asked, and we've talked about this before, I'm often asked if we'll ever change the week or change the dates of Fire Prevention Week, because often in Canada, it falls, well, Thanksgiving weekend falls in there, and essentially we lose a day, right? Because of the holiday. It will never change. So there are so many options. You can do what Oakville does and do its open house in August or early September and still use the materials and whatnot. So we just have to, in Canada, make it work for us the best we can, because it's never going to change in the States. But like we do with things like Wildfire Community Preparedness Day and the Home Fire Sprinkler week and day. We just do it when it works for us up here, and it's fine. The messaging is the same, and the messaging works no matter what the week. I understand that everybody really wants to do it during Fire Prevention Week. So anyway, away we go. All right. Of course, let's make it work. There we go. So I think we've gone through this before, but just as a reminder, Fire Prevention Week started, 101 years ago now. So last year was the 100th anniversary of Fire Prevention Week. It was way back in 1919, actually, before Fire Prevention Week, that NFPA had its 23rd annual meeting. So that's how old NFPA is. And remember that we're a not-for-profit private corporation, right? So we're not government, and we don't make money. We generate revenue, but we generate revenue to cover the costs of all of the free Fire Prevention Week and other public education materials that we're able to provide for you. And of course, run our business, pay our staff and whatnot. But we're not a revenue, we're a break-even entity, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we met, this is a long time ago in 1919 in Ottawa, with something that was called at the time the Dominion Fire Prevention Association in Canada. And then everybody agreed that there would be resolutions, and they would urge governments in the US and Canada to support the campaign for a common fire prevention day. That expanded to Fire Prevention Week in 1922. So hence the 100-year anniversary last year. And because we sponsor Fire Prevention Week, and we have done since its inception in 1922, NFPA selects the annual theme for Fire Prevention Week. And we're often asked about that, sort of, why do you guys get to choose the theme? Because we provide all of the resources and materials and support for Fire Prevention Week. So that's why we choose the theme. But we don't just choose the theme, right? It comes from the science and the data that shows us what the risks are and what the problems and challenges are. And it's a real thought process, and the thought process for next year begins as soon as this year is over. So as I said, October 8th to 14th this year, usually Sunday to Saturday. So these are just a look back at some of the themes and the images from Fire Prevention Weeks gone by. You'll be familiar with them. And you'll also notice that the themes are largely centered around three ideas, or three sort of universal issues. And those would be cooking, escape planning, and smoke alarm. So knowing the sound of the smoke alarm, understanding your smoke alarm, understanding what to do when you hear the sound of the smoke alarm. Cooking, we know, is, I'll show you some data shortly, but cooking is the number one, and I don't like to say that as if it's a positive. It's the main, most significant cause of home fires, and unattended cooking is the top cause of cooking fires. So there's cooking overall, and then there's unattended cooking, which are two different things and can be categorized two different ways. But as you know, there's not a lot of, we don't categorize our data very well in both Canada and the United States. So it's a challenge to try to come up with the numbers around that. But I think overall across North America, cooking is the top cause of fire and of injuries from kitchen fires, which is cooking. Okay, sorry, I didn't say that very well. Okay, we'll move on. So last year, as you know, was the 100th anniversary, and the theme centered around the critical need to plan and practice your escape. And I like that theme, actually. It was inclusive, and pardon me, there was lots of diversity in our resources and in the theme itself. So as soon as last year ended, of course, we start thinking about this year. As soon as Fire Prevention Week is over in October, everybody gets a little breather, and then we start thinking about what's next. So the theme is always data driven. We look at what's the fire problem, and we get this information from our research foundation. So the Fire Prevention Research Foundation, Fire Protection Research Foundation, pardon me, and also NFPA's own research section, and then anything else that exists out there. So we look at what does the data tell us? What are the challenges? What are fire departments seeing? And then anecdotally, from talking to people and doing focus groups and whatnot, what are you seeing in your communities and your neighborhoods? We want the theme to be actionable. We want to make sure that there's something that people can do so that we can give them information and they have a takeaway and an action item or items that they can achieve, right? And then we want to be sure that the theme is universal so that it's pertinent across all populations. It doesn't just deal with one population, one age group, one demographic, but that it's suitable for everyone. And people have asked, well, it's cooking, so how is that relevant to kids? Or, if you want to go into schools, well, it's very relevant. children are at home. Everyone's at home now, and many people are still at home post-COVID and working at home. So there's a lot more of that. Children are the purveyors of the messaging. We know that they take home the messages from school or from their fire department tours or from when the firefighters come in or whatever it may be. And they are our great, fabulous young messengers. So there are messages that are specific about kitchen safety and cooking safety that we're providing for children. And you'll see all that shortly. Any questions or comments, Roel? Or
No,
Vince?
don't see any so far.
Okay, good.
Go.
Good.
Good, yeah.
All right. Okay, so here's what it looks like this year. So cooking safety starts with you. So you'll see it's a little reminiscent of a US figure that you may have seen in years gone by of Uncle Sam. We want you pay attention to fire prevention. You've simply got the Fire Prevention Week logo here, and then my mouse is magically doing things here. And then the fpw.org to remind you that this is where it is, where all of the material and the resources are housed. So it's a little different. It's brighter. The color scheme is a little different than we've had in years past. Look at that. It's doing it all by itself. In years past, I like it. It's fun. It's bright. And I like it that Sparky is very much front and center there. So that is the English version. This is the French version. This is the banner that you would hang on the fire department or a town hall or wherever. This one is the French version, and it is created and provided by CanOps, which you'll see the logo there in the middle, the CanOps logo, and some sponsorship by the Council of Canadian Fire Marshals and Fire Commissioners. So if you order your French banner and your French kit through CanOps, you will see these logos. And this is great. This means that the Council of Canadian Fire Marshals and Fire Commissioners, which includes Ontario and every other fire marshal and fire commissioner across the country, is supporting the Fire Prevention Week theme. So we're excited for that. We actually have a memorandum of understanding that is just about signed with the council so that we're all on the same page for Fire Prevention Week. And I know Amin is on the call, and you all know about Operation Safer. We're all very excited about Operation Safer and Test Your Smoke Alarm Day coming up September 28th. And we had a great conversation about why we wanted to do that in advance of Fire Prevention Week, so as not to sort of take away from Fire Prevention Week itself. And then it can be sort of a lead up to your Fire Prevention Week activities, right? So the theme here is cooking, but it's absolutely critical to have working smoke alarms and to test your smoke alarm. So we're all in partnership. We're all working together. We're all supporting this theme for Fire Prevention Week, and we're all also supporting Operation Safer and Test Your Smoke Alarm Day. So once again, this is the English version without the logos. So this is what you will receive if you order a banner from the Ontario Fire Marshals Public Fire Safety Council or from NFPA or from Fire Hall Bookstore. If you order from CanOps, because we have a partnership with CanOps, you will see this version that just has those additional logos on it. And the French version will have these logos as well. So the French material only available through CanOps, and I'll give you all the web links shortly, and you can take a screenshot of those. So what else? So why cooking safety? Why are we doing it? Cooking safety is the #1 cause of home fires and injuries across North America. And again, I'll show you the data shortly. Among cooking fire deaths, unattended cooking is the top cause, right? That makes sense. More people are working from home. That means more distractions. What's the #1 distraction? It's right here in your hands, right? So you might even still be in the kitchen and still distracted, mostly by, I don't know, TikTok. I don't know about you guys, but that's my #1 distraction. And then there are clear, actionable ways to prevent cooking fires. We know that they work. So we've got all of the criteria there that we looked at a few moments ago. So you can see this gentleman sort of standing in the kitchen on the phone. There is the kettles on the stove. Very easy to be distracted by your phone or anything else these days. So that is one of the key messages. So the data, of course, supports the theme. And I wanted to show you a little bit of data. So all the data NFPA has is, of course, American, which is fine. We can extrapolate if we so choose, but I just wanted to show you what is available to you. You should have your own data for your own department and your own region, but the National Fire Incident Database is now available to you. And if you were at the Operation Safer Summit in May, you would have heard Len Garris and John Pegg, among others, announce the fact that Ontario is now involved in supporting and making available the data in the National Fire Incident Database to all fire departments in Ontario, which is fantastic. So I'm going to show you a couple of things just so that you're aware, and so that if you don't have your own local data or don't have access to it right away, you can at least go here and have a peek. So it's a new endeavor, a new venture with the Canadian Association of Fire Chiefs, StatsCan, and other agencies and organizations. And if you just Google StatsCan Cooking Fires Canada, I've filtered it here for Ontario, you will come to this page that gives it to you. And you can, all the data is there from 2017 to 2021. And this is data that was submitted by offices of the fire marshals and fire commissioners across Canada for the most part. So some provinces and territories didn't have good data for that time period for all kinds of reasons that you can imagine, for all kinds of reasons. So they're not included, but it includes most provinces and territories. It gives you at least a picture and a comparator. So it gives you something to look at to say, you know what, if you don't have other data and you're doing a presentation, you can say in Canada or in Ontario, there were this many fires attributed to cooking material and went over this period of time. And then if you have your local data, you can drill down further for your audience and say, so in fact, you know, we know that this is the case across the country. We know this is the case in Ontario. And in fact, in our community, here's what's going on. So just to show you, right, so you've got Ontario structure fires 2017 to 2021, you filter it for cooking equipment, and you get your numbers all down here. So you have your totals for each year and then the sources. So I'm going to go out to the internet in just a moment and just click on those to show you what it looks like and how easy it is to use and what comes up. But before that, this is 2017 to 2021. And then I just filtered just for 2021. So the number of fires attributed to cooking equipment in 2021, 1,220, and then it goes down and gives you more detail. So I'm going to see if I can go to the internet. Let's make this work. And I have to exit and then enter. So give me 2 seconds here. Okay, I think that's it. Yes. Okay, Raul or Vince, you're seeing the StatsCan website now, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is just, again, the 2021. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to use. So again, if you just Google Statistics Canada, Ontario cooking fires, it will come up, or Canada cooking fires. And then you can scroll down, and you guys are familiar with these categories and sections. If you're a public educator and you're not as familiar with them as some of the fire prevention officers, if you just click on the number, it will tell you what the reference is and what each category means. So if you go down here to human failing, people being asleep or fatigued at the time of the fire, having temporary loss of judgment, having a physical or mental disability, being impaired by alcohol or drugs or medication, having an accident, being distracted or preoccupied. So that's kind of the key there, category for distracted or unattended cooking, but then the number here is 0. So it depends on how things are categorized and how the SIRs are being completed and filled out. So it's not a perfect system, but at least it gives you some idea. Whereas it may be that it's being categorized more as misuse of the materials or objects. So again, I'm not a fire prevention officer. Those of you who are fire prevention officers may have some insight into this. And the way things are categorized. And again, things are changing. You know, yesterday, the Office of the Fire Marshal came out with a communique on lithium-ion batteries, and we're going to add that to the SIRs, I believe, or at least have a look at it so that we're being more specific. So if anybody has comments or thoughts on that, feel free to put them in the chat. But I just wanted to show you that this is available. And as we move forward, there will be more detail, and we'll start adding the 2022 data as time goes on. So if you don't have your own data, you can go here and get some data, and it can be helpful to you in your presentations. All right, I'm going to stop that one and go back in. Okay. Data. All right. So what have we got at fpw.org? We have the usual array or plethora of resources. So there are some videos. I'm not sure. I was waiting to hear from Andrea Vasquez, who many of you have met, our Senior Director of Public Education, as to whether we have a new video for 2023. We usually have a new video, so I'm assuming that it's coming. It usually comes in late August or early September. There are press releases and proclamation templates. All of the Canadianized versions are not up yet. They're coming, and all of the French versions are also not up yet. They are also coming, and I'll show you where shortly. There is an event flyer, so if your fire department is hosting an event, you can put it up in the grocery stores or on bulletin boards. It's just a fill-in type thing, so you can fill it in on the computer and then put it wherever, or you can send it out by email. We have tip sheets, of course. There are tons of tip sheets on cooking and cooking safety and unattended cooking, so we've put those all in one spot on the page, and I'll show you shortly. New activity sheets, and of course, all of the social media, and the social media cards are available now on the website in English, and the French are coming. They're translated. We just have to get them posted. And our poor web person who's doing all of this new website went on vacation. Imagine that, for a week or so. And so we're playing catch up for sure. So all of that information is available. There are 3 key calls to action for this Fire Prevention Week. So the first, there are lots of messages in the social media cards, but there are 3 key messages that the education team decided to focus on. So the first is turn pot handles toward the back of the stove. Always, this is the first one, but it combines 2. Always keep a lid nearby when cooking. If a small grease fire starts, slide a lid over the pan and turn off the burner. So you are all familiar with those messages because they are all from what we call the EMAC, the Educational Messaging Advisory Committee desk reference. You should all have it. I'll show you again shortly. And if you don't have it, shoot me a quick email and I'll get you the link, or you can go to nfpa.org, public education, educational messages, and download the document. It's free. It's available in English and French. And that's where we get all of our messages and everything that we use for Fire Prevention Week, right? We don't just, again, we don't make them up. They're not new. We were just putting a sharper focus on it all. So that's the first call to action. The second is watch what you heat, something you're all familiar with. Set a timer to remind you that you are cooking. This is so easy to do now because everyone has a phone. So you can ask, you know who, if I say it out loud, she'll start her or Siri or whomever to start a timer for you. You can just do it on your phone. You can have an old-fashioned timer that you just set. It is the key. I'm telling you, I use my timer all day, every day, because I too get distracted mostly by doing PowerPoints, right? And TikTok. So that's the second one. And the third is have a kid-free zone of at least 1 meter around the stove and areas where hot food, this is a good one, where hot food is prepared or carried. So a lot of moms these days, a lot of young moms, and their hot coffee and their Starbucks and whatnot. So we want to make sure scalding is a leading cause of injuries for young children. So we want to make sure that everyone's aware. Some more resources on this message are coming. I just put the safety tip sheet up there because it talks about the 1 meter kid-free zone around hot things or the stove or where you're preparing or carrying food. So again, more resources coming on that. So those 3 key messages are the focus of Fire Prevention Week 2023. And when you go to fpw.org, you'll see this graphic. It's a little blurry there because I've blown it up, but this is what it looks like on the About page. I think it might be the toolkit page of fpw.org. Okay. All right. So this is, of course, the desk reference, and you can see all of the chapters and where you can get it, nfpa.org, and then hover your mouse over public education and educational messaging. You can download it. It's easy to print. It's just black and white text. There are no images. And again, all of the messages you would want. So your cooking chapter is here, chapter 8, I believe. And we keep expanding. So every year we add more messaging because, of course, every year there's new technology and we find new things, new challenges, and new problems. So we'll update the desk reference this year I hope that's the goal anyway. And as soon as Fire Prevention Week is over, I believe we're going to open up the opportunity for people to submit suggestions, changes, recommendations. So things like the lithium ion batteries, that is a whole new chapter now, needs to be updated because we've got so many new things happening. So we do that as often as we can, but that's where the messaging comes from. Okay. All right. So the free to download resources.
Laura,
Yeah.
sorry, just to interrupt. Somebody's
Yeah.
put the link for that directly right in the chat.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Excuse me. Wonderful. Okay, so the free to download resources that are available in English, the event flyer, of course, the theme art, that's what you see here. So this is available in all kinds of different sizes. So for your social media, for your website, and then also for brochures and flyers to print. And now I'm going to go down this path. If you need something in a larger file format, so if you need a vector file, for example, if you want to put this theme artwork on your fire prevention vehicle or on a bus shelter or something else other than the banner, which is big and you can see it down the block, other than the banner, you would need to have the right size and the right kind of high quality, high resolution artwork from NFPA. And to do that, we don't make it available on the website. It's a long legal story of why we don't do that. We contract out this artwork. It belongs to somebody else. We own it eventually and all that stuff. So we have to provide for you the vector file. If you want to do that, if you want to put it on the side of a bus, for example, we're happy to do it. It's just a process. So if you want to do that, and lots of people do, we see them on Zambonis, for example, which is spectacular. If you want to do that, just get in touch with me and I'll walk you through the legal process. It's just a form to fill out, but it has to be, in order to have the right quality file, we have to go through the process. And then remember that we're happy to have you use it, but there can't be changes to it. So it has to stay as is. So we're happy to have you use use information or text with it, but it's unable to be changed because it's copyrighted and trademarked. Okay, so I'm happy to help. Just give me a shout. So we have the event flyer, the theme art, social cards, the tip sheets, press release, and proclamation, all available for download. So no cost for any of those items. That's all on the page, which I will go to shortly. And also a whole bunch of safety tip sheets because so many of them relate to cooking and cooking safety. And then in French, we have all of the same items, and those will be available probably by next week on the fpw.org site, and I'll show you where shortly. Okay. All right. So then we come to the kits and buying the kits. So this is a little bit complicated in Ontario, so bear with me as I explain it to you. So the banners are included in the kit. So these are the big banners here that you would hang again on your fire department. There are posters, I think 5 posters in the kit. They are, if you order from CanOps, you will get a poster that is English on one side, French on the other side. If you order from the Ontario Fire Marshal's Public Fire Safety Council or the Fire Hall Bookstore, you will get posters that are English on one side, Spanish on the other side, because they're coming directly from NFPA. So the Public Fire Safety Council and the Fire Hall Bookstore are resellers. So they buy directly from NFPA and then resell the products to you guys, right? At a good price, especially the council. CanOps is a licensee and a contractor with NFPA. They actually produce these on their own. So they produce the English-French poster. If you're using it in English, it really makes no difference to you, but I'm just making you aware so that if you order it and you end up with an English-Spanish poster, you're not surprised, okay? So that's how that works. Obviously, we have a large Spanish-speaking population in the United States that wants to buy the products, and that's why that's happening, okay? Just so you're aware. And you will see all over the FPW site, and in fact, the new NFPA site as well, a lot of English and Spanish. We're working with CanOps, we're working with the Quebec Fire Prevention Officers Association, with the province of New Brunswick and other entities to bring more French. It is all consuming, and I've been doing it for years now, and we're almost there. In fact, we're going to start translating the standards into French as well. So that's good news. Okay, so all of these items are included in the, pardon me, in the kit, in the Fire Prevention Week kit that you may purchase. You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. You have all of the free resources that you can use, download and use, and then there are the kits that you can buy. The kits vary in price depending on where you get them and depending on the size. So this would be a kit, for example, for 100. So there'd be 100 bags, activity books for kids, magnets, brochures, 10 tips brochure, and stickers, I believe, that are over here. Yeah, and the stickers as well, which are kind of cute this year. The stickers are here. Fire prevention starts with you. I like those. So those are great. So those are all in the English version of the kit. And then, sorry, so where can you get the kits? You can get the English versions of the kits through the Fire Hall bookstore. And I believe there is, if you're a member of the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs, I think there's a 10% discount through the Fire Hall bookstore. Canopstore.org, you can get the French versions of the kit. No, you can get both versions of the kit, sorry. And then the firesafetycouncil.com. So the Fire Safety Council right now has a order form up on its website, so you can order a la carte. I don't think at this moment they have the whole kit all together, but that actually might be advantageous, right? Because maybe you want more brochures than magnets or whatever it is. The prices are good, so I would encourage you to have a look at all three sites before you make a decision. This is the magnet with those 3 calls to action on it, and this is the sticker. All right. So this is the Fire Safety Council, the form, and it shows you, it shows you the individual items and your council member pricing there too, right? So there are all kinds of discounts depending on where you go and who you are. Okay. And the Fire Hall bookstore, this is what it looks like. So their price is here, and this is for the kit with 100 items. No, with 100 of each. So 100 of the magnets and the brochures and everything. You get 1 big banner and 5 posters and 100 of everything else. Okay. Okay. And then the French kits are at the Canops store only. So this is the only place to get the French kits. Again, Canops has a licensing agreement with NFPA to produce the French versions of the kits. That may change in years to come. The council, we're working with Jamie Kovacs closely on all kinds of things and all kinds of initiatives. So it may be that eventually you can get the French kits through the council as well. Okay. And again, this has the sticker or logo on it with the Council of Fire Marshals and Fire Commissioners, because they have agreed to support Fire Prevention Week and the Fire Prevention Week theme during Fire Prevention Week, which is great. So we're all on the same page. Okay, and then back to Canops store, and this is the kit. The kit at the Canops store includes some different items. So they put the fire helmets in, and also, the jar openers. So it's a larger kit, and this is the kit for 100, and you can, or with 100, you can see here what's included. So it's a different situation. Okay. And just showing you that in the French version of the activity book for kids, which is down here, this is what it looks like. And these are just some of the pages from the activity book for kids in French, if you're interested. Okay, so where do you go? All over the place. There's nfpa.org, which again, we don't have a link there yet, but we will. Firepreventionweek.org or fpw.org. So if you want to take a screenshot of this slide, it might be helpful. We'll look in a moment at Sparky.org, which has been updated and is new and wonderful. Sparky Schoolhouse has also been updated. SparkySchoolhouse.org has all kinds of activities and videos and whatnot for educators, but it's not just for teachers, it's for all educators. So that includes you guys, so you're welcome to go there. Canopstore.ca here, firehallbookstore.com, and I forgot to add the Fire Marshals Public Fire Safety Council, but you're all familiar with that. Anyway, so those are some of the places you can go. So another wonderful thing that's happening with Fire Prevention Week this year and also last year is that Cooperators, which is a great supporter of all things fire safety and fire prevention in Canada. So it supports the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition, also supports Wildfire Community Preparedness Day, and now Fire Prevention Week. So last year we partnered with Cooperators, similar to what we do in the United States with State Farm, and Cooperators is offering 200 free Fire Prevention Week kits. So they're the 100 kits, the kits with the 100 stickers, 100 this, that, and the other thing, the banner and the posters, pardon me, to 200 fire departments. So I have about 170 on my list as of today. So I have some openings, and many of you are on the list because I know that you're going to use the kits, that you could use the kits, and that you have worked in partnership with NFPA and OAFE and OAFC and the council for years, and we all greatly appreciate that. So if you in your department could use a kit, and I can't make a promise because if you all submit, then I'll have to draw from a hat. But if you would like to have one free kit, I still have some available. So if you can email me this information today, so your department, a contact person, if it's you, that's great. Email address, phone number, preferably not a phone number with an extension, because if someone is delivering the kit to you, if it's a courier, we want to be able to reach you, and a mailing address. So not a PO box, but a street address. Then I'm happy to provide for you, knowing that the kit will be well used. So again, some of you I've contacted already. Some of you are on the list and you'll get an email in the next week or so. And others, if you're interested, holler and let me know. But also please include how you'll use the kit. So give me an idea of what your plan is for Fire Prevention Week. My greatest fear in this initiative is that, you know, people come forward and say, oh, this small department in this region could really use the kit, but they have no capacity to do Fire Prevention Week, which is unfortunate. And I want to make sure that the kits are being used and that they go to the best places. So there, you have that information now. Take your screenshot and send it to me, and I'll put you on the list, or we'll draw out of a hat if there are more requests than there are kits. And then I'll let you know as soon as possible so that you can factor that into your budgeting for your Fire Prevention Week purchases, if you're purchasing. Okay. All right. So swinging back to what else we have on the website, lots of safety tip sheets in different languages, and of course, pictograms. And it's not just cooking safety, right? Scald prevention, using timers, smoke alarms, having an escape plan. So all of those tip sheets go hand in hand, and they're all on the website. And we've added this new coloring sheet. Cooking safety starts with you, and we're just having this updated to Canadian so that it says 1 meter here, where it still says 3 feet, and then we'll have the French version available as well. Okay, so we have some new educational products to go along with Fire Prevention Week. I know this is blurry. I couldn't find the actual version. So this is from the Fire Hall Bookstore. It is an I Spy safety checklist, which is a great tool to use if you're in a classroom or if you're doing something virtual, and you can buy pads like tear pads of 100, so that if you're going into a classroom or if you're doing an open house, you have something to give out. So this is the price in Canadian dollars from Fire Hall Bookstore, just so you know. And that was the only place that I saw that it's available. I didn't see it on the council website. And then there are a couple of others too. These have been around for a couple of years, these 2 readers. Annie Makes a Plan and How Much Do You Know About Fire Safety? Again, if you're going into classrooms, although the theme is cooking, these are great tools to use to support and enhance your theme. There are 30 books in a package. These are the prices from the Fire Hall Bookstore. I helped to edit these books. They're meant for kindergarten to grade 3, and they're good quality and excellent information and messaging. And then a new thing is the bookmarks, which are $19.95 for also a pack of, I think it's 30. Sorry, I'm not, yeah, it is 30. It's about a pack of 30. So new things that you can take into schools to enhance your Fire Prevention Week experience. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go out of here. I'm going to look at the chat first to see about questions, and then I'm going to go out of here and onto the website to walk you through it, if you don't mind. Thank you. Okay, I see some people adding to the list. That's great. And okay, I don't see any questions though. If there are questions, just holler. Okay. And just want to make sure I'm going to the right spot, which I maybe or may not be. Okay. Okay, so there, fpw.org, and you can see that, correct, Raul?
Yep, we can see that.
Okay. So you'll see across the top is all the usual NFPA information. And then across the top of this page, you have your About Fire Prevention Week, the toolkit, the safety tip sheets, and shop. So I want you to ignore that shop button because that takes you to the NFPA catalog and where you will find all of the tools and resources that I've shown you, but they're all in US dollars and you would have to pay shipping and also duty. So don't buy from NFPA, buy from those 3 Canadian entities that we've already looked at. So the Fire Hall Bookstore, the Fire Safety Council, and CanOps if you're looking for the French versions of any of this stuff. So the homepage, this is what you get when you open the homepage. And I'm walking you through it simply because I just always find it easier when someone shows me rather than going there and trying to search and not know what I'm getting. So if you scroll, you'll come across about activities, educate your community, games and apps, lesson plans, safety tip sheets, shop, again, ignore that, videos, and our US partner, State Farm. So it's easy to navigate. The about page is really consumer facing. So if you're sending people there, if you have a school group or if you have a community organization that wants to learn about Fire Prevention Week, you can provide them with this link because it is directed at consumers, at everybody, not just fire departments. So it gives you a little bit of information. This is the I Spy video, been around for a little bit, a couple of years, it's good. That talks about cooking safety and why and what you can do, and then the 3 tips. And then the importance of fire prevention. So this is our really good, I love this video, Plan Your Escape video, which again, applicable to everyone and is in conjunction with the theme. And then of course, the video about the Great Chicago Fire, which is a great video, right? It's well done and works for all audiences from kids to older adults. So you have some great resources there. If you are challenged to use videos in your location, for example, if you don't have a strong Wi-Fi signal, let me know and I will try to get you the MP4 of the video so that you can embed it in a presentation or you can just have it on your desktop. It's always a challenge and we have to go through that legal process, but the more we do it, the more open NFPA will be to it. So I know it's difficult sometimes to get through barriers in schools and whatnot. I think it's better now than it was 5 years ago, but that option exists just so that you know, all right? And sometimes we do take forever to get you stuff through the legal process, but we try really hard to close that gap and shorten it up. Okay, so that's the About page. I'm gonna go back now. So activities for all ages are here, and that takes you to sparky.org. So this is the updated and new sparky.org page. Again, a safe space for kids. There are no ads on this page, no pop-ups on this page. When you first log into it, you're asked if you're a kid to get permission from a parent, and then you can join our Earn a Sparky Badge, Fire Safety Badge Club, which is a fairly new thing in the last 2 years. So it's a wonderful place to send kids, and it's a wonderful place for schools too. So we're in the activities section here of sparky.org, and you can see how many there are. There are lots and lots, and you just download and print, or you can order some of them in again, tear off pads, but I encourage you to do your own printing and save the money. But just so you know where all this stuff is, and some of it relates to cooking and being safe in the kitchen, the hot, not hot. This kid-free zone marker, it's right now not in metric, it's in Imperial. We're getting it done in metric, okay? So that it'll be suitable for Canada. All right, you can see all the materials here. I won't click there for kids and adults. So we've got the cooking safety. Oh, it just takes you to the toolkit page, which is great. And then this takes you to the safety tip sheets. So we'll go back to the top and go to the toolkit, which is my favorite part. Same banner that it was last year. And we have some items here. So the messaging button here takes you to the EMAC. So it takes you to the desk reference, and we will ask you for your email address. We will not spam you. I promise we don't do that, but we just like to know where things are going and who's receiving them. So it will ask you for an email address, and then it will provide you with the download. The proclamation right now is a gubernatorial proclamation. You can just edit it and make it a municipal or provincial proclamation. There is a federal proclamation in Canada. It will be available at around the 1st of October. It's already done, and it just it's saved in the PMO, and they wait for the 1st of October to make the announcement about Fire Prevention Week, which is fantastic. There's no great artwork with it, but it's nice that it is proclaimed in Canada. You can also edit it, and I'm trying to get the Canadian version up there. You can also edit it to make it a municipal proclamation, which I think is really nice. If you have the mayor or your, pardon me, your regional councillor or whoever it may be declare Fire Prevention Week in your municipality, that makes for a local event and local coverage. And if you do it in conjunction with whichever activities you're doing during Fire Prevention Week, that's kind of cool. The event flyer is here. It's asking to download it, so I'll show you what it looks like. And pardon me, you can delete this, and the French version is coming. So you just fill in the blanks to indicate where your event is and when. So the date and time and whatnot will disappear when you do that, as will city, state, zip. Okay, so it's just a fillable PDF with the artwork. So that's good. And the press release is here. Again, it's just a Word document. So we have the press release, then we have the Canadian version of the press release, which is coming. And then we'll have the French version of the press release. And of course, we have the Spanish version here. So that will be there. And then right here, there will be a magic button that says Canadian and French resources. So this should appear sometime in the next week or so, especially if you're looking for the French versions. And that alleviates you from having to go all over the website and try to find the French version of something that may not exist. So everything that's in French will be in a button that will live here. So if we scroll down on the pardon me, on the toolkit page, you'll see all the social media cards. There are lots, which is great. They're all here in English. They will be in the button, in the French button in French very soon. So they are optimized for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And there are several different messages that correspond with the 3 key points, but also some others dealing with, I know they call it grilling in the United States. I think in Canada, we understand that grilling is barbecuing. Tried to get them to do separate ones with barbecue, but that didn't fly. So it's grilling, but I think in your text, you can write that it's barbecuing, and that's fine. So lots of good ones and lots of variety. So there's more than 7, I think, so you can use them all week during Fire Prevention Week. And again, for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So those are all there. If you keep scrolling, you'll find the campaign logos and use. So the logos may not be copied, reproduced, sold in any way, or distributed for commercial purposes, as you know. And we do have the French version up there. That just went up yesterday. So you can download these in various sizes. There's a zip file here when you go to download. And again, if you need a larger vector file or something because you need to blow it up and make it really big, let me know and I'll walk you through the legal application process. So if you go here, it takes you to the logo guidelines. So I'd have a look at that. Again, you may not be copied, reproduced, changed in any way, which is critical because people ask us all the time, oh, can we just do this? Or can we just do that? No, or sorry, but you can't. But you can add your own stuff around it, right, in the text and whatnot. So just respect that, and we'd appreciate it. And if you need anything or want to do anything different, just let me know and we'll walk through it. Okay, so then when you get to Fire Prevention Week itself, and you're doing your activity, your event, what have we got for you? All kinds of free downloadable material. So there are hidden pictures, the coloring sheet. Again, we'll have that in French. We'll have this kid-free zone in metric. And most of these are from, these ones anyway, are from Learn Not to Burn. So they're just pulled directly out of the Learn Not to Burn books. So all kinds of things that you can easily print, download and print at no cost. We have this Cooking Safety Starts With You also in French. So it will be in the French button toward the top. And then some of our information from last year's campaign that is very applicable to this year. So we, just because we're having a home fire escape plan and testing your smoke alarms as well. So these are all great things that you can package together. Someone pointed out to me this week that this Sparky, so this is Flat Sparky. We used to call it Flat Sparky, but I think there was some copyright there with flat. What was it? Flat. I'm forgetting.
Family.
Stanley, thank you. Yeah, so it's an activity that's been used in classrooms for years. This version is in English and Spanish, so I'm trying to get the just English version back up or the English and French version back up. So that will take a couple of days, but that should happen. And then we've got some new stuff from Sparky.org and Sparky Schoolhouse as well. So lots of information, and then tools for special populations. So if we click there, that takes us to specific groups, people with disabilities and older adults. So all of your messaging and some tip sheets that are specific to those groups are here. Okay, and then I'll take you back up to the top here. And the safety tip sheets, again, there are dozens of them. Again, they're going to be here in Spanish in that other button on the toolkit page in French. So lots of tip sheets that go with the theme, and including the people with disabilities, which is also in the other page I just showed you. All right, so everything that applies. So there's lots to talk about, if nothing else. All right, everybody good with the walkthrough of the firepreventionweek.org, fpw.org page? Questions or comments?
I don't see any, Laura.
Okay, all good. All right, so I'll leave there and go back to the PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, so that's not showing, is it? You seen that, Will?
We're seeing your presenter screen, like the other one, not the one that has the slide on.
Okay. It's always amazing, eh? That's it.
That looks like a slideshow, yeah.
Perfect, thanks. Okay, so just back to Sparky the Fire Dog. On the sparky.org page, there is lots of information about Sparky. Everybody loves Sparky, as you know. It is a registered trademark, and Sparky was born on March 18th, 1951, so he's just turned 72, and he is the official mascot of the National Fire Protection Association, of course. I did see yesterday, actually, on the Fire Marshal's the council site, there's lots of Sparky material and resources and items that you can get through the council at good prices. So I would have a peek there if you're looking for the Sparky stuffy that's over here, or the Sparky mascot costume. The council has an agreement with Robotronics in the United States, which is the only licensed manufacturer of the Sparky mascot costume, and it is at a really good price. So I get asked about that all the time, so wanted to just provide that information for you. And again, the new sparky.org site, it is vetted content. So this goes through our curriculum teams. It's pre-K through elementary. We've got a bunch of new stuff that's been added in the last couple of years. Really great if you're working with classrooms or you're doing something virtually. Some new stuff. So we have a YouTube channel, NFPA Kids. We've had it for a while. We're working to develop more videos, get more information up there, and it is easily accessible, perhaps more easily accessible than the videos on the NFPA pages. YouTube seems to have, I don't know, more power, or just be easier and more reliable sometimes than going to the NFPA site, especially now that we're in the throes of making over the site. So all of the videos related to Fire Prevention Week are also at the YouTube NFPA Kids channel, just so that you're aware. And I've mentioned this last year, we have a partnership with Kahoot. So again, if you're in classrooms, fantastic partnership. I think many of you have played Kahoot, some of you with me, some of you, I think, was introduced to us by the members of the Brampton Fire Prevention team, which is wonderful. We worked the Kahoots into our videos, and they're, again, terrific if you have good Wi-Fi and you're able to work with kids who have iPads or some kind of tablet or computer. So you show a bit of the video, then a Kahoot question comes up, you show a bit more of the video, another Kahoot question, you can do prizes. It's a really great classroom activity, but not just classroom. So if you're doing any kind of community group or organization, kids and adults love it too. It's fun and it gets competitive. So it's a really, really good teaching tool. It's all free. If you go to kahoot.com and search for NFPA, this will all come up for you. There are 4 or 5 Kahoots now in there. And again, we're building more. So it's a fantastic teaching tool. The new Sparky Schoolhouse, like I said, it's updated. And this is a great tool for everybody. And again, all of the material that's here will enhance your Fire Prevention Week teaching and your activities. So lots of new stuff. It's got an updated look, an updated feel. The former one was a little bit out of date. All right, what's the time? We're almost at an hour, and that is everything I have for you. There's my contact information. Most of you know anyway. I'm here actually for the next week and a half. I'm not traveling. I'm here so I can help with legal questions, or where do I get this, or where is that in French? Happy to do that anytime. And anything you want to talk about or questions about how to do this, how to use it, why the theme, or where to get stuff, happy to answer. Now, I don't even think we said what the end time would be on this session, but making it an hour is good. Yeah. So questions, comments? Just checking the chat. I see a couple of people would like to add to the list of free kits. That's great. And I see I've got 23 emails that just came in. So probably many of them are from you guys. That's fantastic. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate that. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, there's a lot, eh? And it's hard, if you don't know, how would you know to go to firepreventionweek.org if you didn't go to firepreventionweek.org? You would think you should go to nfpa.org. So share that with as many people as you possibly can, because people will be looking for it, and I'll start to get it out on social as well. Thanks, Margot. Good. No questions. It was so thorough. You don't have any questions. That's great, eh?
I don't see any. There had the questions open too in the chat, and some people have made some comments, but I don't see any questions for you. So that was obviously very thorough and
okay. Thanks. I see Scott. I see Pembroke. So can you email that to me, guys? The Pembroke guys. So I need more information than that too. So a phone number and email address. Okay. And you may have done that already. Okay, thank you.
Chat from Mary Lou saying, "Hi Laura, can I see screen 20?"
Screen 20. Would that be slide 20? Slide 20. Mary Lou, can you send me a note and I'll send it to you?
Oh, yeah, she says yes.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, wonderful. How many people did we have on? Just so I have an 88. Okay, great. And just so I have an
I think that the highest number we had was 93 or so. Like,
okay, that's awesome.
We were over 90 at one point. Yeah.
Perfect. Beautiful. Okay, guys, let me know if you just send an email or find me on social or LinkedIn or wherever. And as you dive into it, I know that you may have questions. It's all a bit of a blur. There's so much information. And as Aman notes, yeah, Ontario's Community Fire Risk Reduction Dashboard is going to be ready to launch in September. So that's going to be a great help to all of you. And you'll hear lots about that through your chiefs. Thanks, Aman. That's fantastic. Okay, great. Look, we did in less than
Laura, thank you very much.
Beautiful. Thanks. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you. We'll do this again sometime.
Yes, we will. Perfect. All right. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
And thanks, Roll.
Yes, thank you. I'm just going to go back through the chat here, make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay.
Just looking, we're still recording. I think I'll stop the recording now. And
yeah.
Just saying thank you. Yeah.